Those are all. For show.
Hey, I tell you, kids, really, you just got to see this world around us as a world, W-H-I-R-L-E-D, a little old hurricane in motion, man, where all of us are just hanging on for dear life until the storm's over. But old Grandpa's here advocating for a return to the eye at the center of the storm, the place where the calm is and all the sunshine and delightful behavior is. Where there is no storm, the storm goes on all around you. But as you occupy your space there at the center, at that eye of the storm, well, goodness gracious, mercy me, look what's happening, don't you see? That calm is spreading far and wide. As the old world kind of sputters down, the storms go flickering off in little feathery waves out into the atmosphere and just dissolve away. And there's nothing but, you know, the center of the storm. The partying time is on, babies. The worst of it's over. And we didn't even have to write it out. We just did it because we wanted to, man. We could be at the eye of the center of the storm all the time. And in fact, we was, because that's how we got back there in the beginning right now, see? And how? Oh, I know it's a little confusing. It's a little baffling for some folks. Goodness gracious. Well, here, let me help set you straight here. We'll just have ourselves a little toke of the sacred herb, the sacred Mary J., to help us along the way. It's the most heartfelt thing you can do for yourself right now. So even if you can't toke down with old Grandpa here, well, babies, just hang on. You'll get it clear here just momentarily, because I share, baby, big time. And there's one little toke is the thing that's going to take you over the edge. Because Grandpa toked it, your heart smoked it, and babies, you're going to be high. All day long, all night too. I mean, you're never coming down. That was the toke that brought it on, John, and got Jane to jumping through the jungle along with the chimpanzees, and here's to all of you. Including the chimpanzees, and I love them when they eat bananas, man. They're so cute. And all the rest of us too, babies. We're in this stew together, all of us, man. And we're starting to see that and be that. With a little help from our sacred, divine, feminine energy we call Mary J. Oh, goodness God. And then we got to have coffee, of course. Oh, my goodness, that is so good. Even a little chilly on the chilly side. It sits too long here. Grandpa can only drink so much, though I try really hard to just keep slugging it down while it's hot. But, you know, sometimes it's just not, you know. That was one of the hazards of truck driving. You just learn how. But, yeah, I'm an old trucker, 3 million miles across the U.S. of A. and a few other parts of Turtle Island. But, babies, you know, I've had a good time with this life. I've learned to love everything and everyone, because I recognize now that I always did and always will and always have. That's the showdown, and how. That's the calm eye at the center of the storm. The 3 million miles and all the other stuff that went with it. God, I've had a very vast experience this lifetime. That's why I'm so seasoned, man. I've been through it. I done doed it in a very accelerated path. For considering my generation, my age and all that stuff. Wow. You know, and how. And I look at it now, and while it felt chaotic as hell and just baffling to beat the band, while I'm living through it, I look back on it now, and I bless every moment of it. It was total preparation for times of now, and how. As this world around us seems to be, you know, just unraveling in its insanity and really wanting to just kick everybody's ass, and imprison them and not set them free ever. Blow them all to hell, man, don't you see? If you can't do that, burn them, shake them, bake them. You know, it's crazy, yeah, you see in the world around us, you know. But, you know, if you focus on that, babies, you're just looking at the storm and still hanging on for dear life, you see. You kind of have to step out of that atmosphere. So, in other words, you're not so responsive to it, man. You don't see it. You're in a calmer place inside of yourself, where this stuff kind of rolls off you like water off of a duck's back. Because you know better. You know there is the divine paradigm at play no matter what's going on or how desperate people are acting or how crazy times are getting. You know, they're going to try and make you think everything's going to hell in this 3D, and it is, of course, because it's, you know, the crumbling of an empire, you know, the crumbling of the empiric desire, the crumbling away of the empty greed that feeds it and makes the storms arise in the first place. You know, out of the ocean of love comes a hurricane and many tornadoes and shit. You know, it's been a rough one, babies. But we were built to take it, just like a good seaworthy ship, you know, or just like a dolphin in the water or in the sky. We're equally comfortable, and on the land too, babies, on our heavy little 2 feet that we feel these days. Oh, yeah. But some of us are remembering the way we are, man. I mean, we live in a different space where, you know, humanity's all traveling to and where we all came from. You know, it's called this. Some people call it another dimension. I call it expansion into consciousness. You know, to understand and know what we're really doing here, and to see some reasonable sense in it, just like I see looking back on my life now. That sure as hell didn't when I was living through it. It was grueling, babies. You would not believe it. But I'm here to bless every moment of that grueling nature, man. It was like, wow. It seasoned me into a real veteran of life. A real veteran of love and motion, of healing miracles everywhere I've ever been, etc. You know, it's been an incredible and miraculous life on every level, even the most miserable and unworthy parts of it. An education in the ripening of the heart such as I don't think I've ever undergone in any other lifetime. The psychological pressures alone in this lifetime beyond description. Gotta live a long time in insanity to figure out what sane is, don't you see? You know, you can't appreciate the eye of the storm and be in the eye of the storm until you've been battered around bit by the storm, man, you know. You gotta know what the storm is. You gotta live it. You gotta love it, too. That's the only way you get out of it, man. As long as you fight it, it's gonna fight you, man. And it's nature, and you can't beat it. It's just the storm, man. Chaos. With an amazing synchronistic pattern in it. You know, coincidences all over the place that aren't coincidences at all. How many times you've noticed, I mean, just silly little things like this. How many times you've noticed, like, you're drawn to look at somebody's Facebook page, let's say, and at the same time, they're over there on your page making a comment on one of your things, how you get synchronistic, you connect in this little moment that you don't even know in the conscious present that each of you are doing. It just happens, you see. Little things like that are indicative of how really synchronized the whole thing is, and how little it has to do with personal choice on this moment-to-moment level, except for the moment in which we live, which is where we're choosing to be the love of creation. I mean, it's a rock and roll thing, yeah, but this is how you step out of the storm and get back to the eye of the storm, and then expand it to include all of the storm. And there's peace on earth and then some, because there's peace in you. That's what the eye of the storm is when you finally get calm about it. When you finally stop raging against whatever it is you've been raging against, because we all do. And we finally just calm down inside and realize it's all up to us. And it's not a burden anymore, it's a blessing. It's only a matter of shifting gears, one gear to another. That's all. It's like changing undies, but doing it really quick and nobody sees, man, but everybody knows. The results are incredibly refreshing. Oh. You see, darlings, we know how to roll with creation. It's built into us. It's integrated into every bit of circuitry that we are. Every bit of existence that is us knows the way. It's living it. And now we just allow ourselves to no longer be isolated in the mind, but to allow the heart's energy, its warming, calming, sunrise-like energy inside, to dissolve away all the restrictions that has kept our mind isolated from the rest of our person. Even though it's been operating this person in a normal management way all along. Gets a little screwed up every now and then, doesn't it? Don't let them mess with you with them chems, man. Stay with nature. The nature of the heart. You want to heal in hell. Rock down with Grandpa in the morning, man. You'll find out what healing really is. Healing's just coming back to life, just realizing you don't have to torment yourself this way. And you especially don't have to take yourself out anymore. Even though we were born to die, we're born to fly, we're born to live. You see, there's a transition in motion, and that's part of the reason why the world is being so chaotic and trying to focus itself on the fear of death and keep you fixated in the 3D because of it. Because it's already underway, man. We're expanding consciously to the point where the realms, the universes, parallel, join. And all the dimensional separations dissolve away. And there's one life living in everything, and the Mother Earth is the center of it all, and we as her children, her active players. That's why we're called angels. And we are. Humanity. Every human, I don't care if you call yourself Gaddafi, every human is a divine angel in motion. And this is the association with conscious presence that's coming forward now. Because if you have gathered at the center of the eye of the storm expands to include all of the storm. It happens in kind of a gradual, expansive sort of way, reflecting the nature of creation, which is always expansive. Expansive love in motion, babies. Coming right from the ocean of love, always. That's where all life arises from, including humanity and the Mother Earth too. We're all born of the oceans of love. The mass life that is everything and everyone. The mother love from which all are formed. And do you realize that form comes into being because of your perception, our perception through you? Well, through my little doggy, too. I sincerely believe he's taken the mantle from my old dog Cyrus, who has gone across that rainbow bridge, and taken up the mantle of having to dream life into being. So he's trying to do his best, but, sometimes he flunks up. I think it's in us all, baby. See, then the free choice is the living in it. Do you want to be yourself, or do you want to be superficial and have to decide every moment and bear a great burden because of it? Because you never get it right. You might get lucky, but you never get it right. Not when you're having to live it like on this incredible choose every 30th of a second, and just no. You see, we've learned to be critical. That's the isolated mind. Thinks it's responsible for everything. It's stupid. Despite its brilliance, it doesn't have a function in reality. So it created one. It felt isolated and alone. This is the psychological and physical aspects of it, given in a mystical way, of course. But it isolated itself. And it became just a thinking machine. It felt feelings down there in the body, and it thought those were alien and foreign to it, so it created religions to make those things wicked. So it wouldn't have to indulge in that shit. Never have to acknowledge the heart again, man. Screw that. The heart had done nothing but get us in trouble anyway. An isolated mind could do better, right? Well, look where that's got us. And so many times before. So the Merry Christmas present this year, delivered, by Santa in her sleigh and everybody else that rocks with them, man, all the elves and the reindeers. And we're all hauling ass for Jupiter now and coming back by Mars and, gathering the whole solar system for a little party at our place, and the rest of the universe gets to join in too. It's time, baby, that we see the heart has always been creation moving through us, motion, love, feeling, alive in everything. The mind really could not isolate itself. That was a created illusion we chose to live in. They're always functioning together, just like your body does. Every little cell and atom contributes to the whole betterment of the whole being. Well, guess what? That's reflected in your creation too, as the bigger world that you live in, and the universe too. Everything you do is for the benefit of everyone else and for the benefit of you too. It all comes together that way, and we don't have to give until we bleed, No. We just live where we are and creatively fulfill the need of all in our presence, in our station in life. That's the center of the universe. Don't believe me? Ask one of your cells in your kneecap if that ain't the center of the universe, and you'll feel it. Ask one of those cells at the center of your chest, on your skin there. Say, hey, are you the center of the universe? Is this the center? Yeah, baby, see? It's everywhere. It's everything. It's every little cell and atom and energy that is. It's that ocean of love from which all are formed. It's a massive, gigantic, unbelievable, without beginning and end energy field. And we're all resonant vibrations in that energy field. That's what's called divine harmony. That's the song of love. You hear day in and day out in just about every tune we play, one way or another. That's secretly hidden in them all. That's what the real rock and roll's all about, man. Behind the scenes, in the tribal rhythms and beats, behind all of that, driving it into being, is divine revelation of the feminine love. The nurturing, creative love that is the source being, the one we've denied for so long and turned our backs on a gazillion times and abused until, speaking of the Mother Earth as her representative, abused it 1 billion times over and thought nothing of it. And all of her little baby animals and children that way too, man. Shit. I was horrified. And then I come from kind of a cowboy environment. It was part of our operation there as a kid. I was horrified at the way we treated the cattle, especially the little calvies. When it was branding time, it was horror time, and I won't go on to describe it. But what I was amazed at was how quickly those little calvies recovered from all these severe injuries we callously inflicted upon them, I just couldn't understand why we had to do that, I saw it in the practical reality and rustlers, and there are cows and not nobody else's, and you can't let the calvies keep their testes because they'll get to be mean bulls and kill you, shit, no, you only want one of those per herd, maybe two, depending on what your size your herd is, that herd anyway. So you always have herds, you break it down into herds, because cattle are herd animals, yeah, but anyway, wow. I could never get over that. But, of course, I got through it. I made myself as hard as I needed to be, and I did what I had to do. But I was always amazed watching those little calves recover. Within 30 seconds to a minute and a half, they're out there all maimed and injured and soiled by it, but they're dancing around, like nothing happened. They let it go just that quick. Humanity hangs on to it. We don't live in the flow, at least not till now. Now we're starting to get it. But see, that's it. That's why some of us have memory lapses, We can't hardly hold on to anything. Because you don't want to remember it. You just live in the flow of it. And that experience exists. It's a notch there in time, man. It's a moment there. And it's there, whatever it was. And, it does affect you in the sense that it's a part of you now. So there will be, responses given through you because of your experience there that otherwise might not have been that kind of response, you understand? You might say no to something you otherwise would have said yes to, etc. You see, you get some defensive nature going on. That won't happen again. And I'll watch for the circumstances, That's what your little fearful guardian inside the isolated mind undertakes. But it does it in a childlike sort of way. Even though we express it in what we think are superior adult ways, they really ain't. It's all pretty primal. It's all pretty much about childlike feelings, which are based on this isolated feeling, this emptiness. When the mind feels separate from its body, it's separated from its mother, and it creates all kinds of crazy and unusual desires, which can never really be fulfilled. And that's where all the insanity on the earth comes from, every bit of it. That's why we have such crazy, insane governments now trying to ruin everything for us, and just don't give a shit about nothing but money, 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 and power, 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 and screw the people, Well, it doesn't work that way, babies. We are the people in that presence, too. You can't live like that anymore. You never really could. It's an illusion to think you are. It's an illusion to think you have a secret space force or methods of torture or freedom to invade any country in this world that you feel like. I think that's shown an incredible stupidity. an arrogance that goes beyond belief because it's so empty. There's nothing in it. And it's the last thing we need to do, because we're already there. We're already in harmony with all of creation. And nothing's fighting us, no matter what it looks like right now. I don't care what religion it wears or what color its leaves or flowers are. You can be so bad. You can actually hate a tiny little plant, shoot. And outlaw an illegal plant like Mary Jane because you feel it's offensive to your reality. Well, of course it is. Helps people wake up. They don't want to be under the snowball anymore. We want to be hanging out on the beach and partying down. We're not fools, man, We just put up with it because we thought, well, that's one of the elements we got to live with here, not realizing the full presence of our creation just yet. And of course there were active players trying to keep us from it, still do in these silly, crazy sort of ways. And it's all where you're going to put your focus. You can acknowledge that, you can grieve for that, whatever you need to do, but don't let that take you away from yourself. Don't let them shock and horrify you out of it, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create so much fear here that they really can't unleash the ultimate hell. They want to bring it all on. Not realizing that we already have. We've lived through so much of it and for so many generations now. No wonder, man. Shit. And these guys are just thinking they got to do that to fulfill their destiny because somebody wrote it down in a book somewhere. Now, if that ain't insane, I don't know what is. See, guys, we just let go of those fetishes, but we do it. And this is the showdown. By allowing our heart to be present in ourselves, by being present in that heart, allowing that mind to not be isolated, letting this heart grow. See, there's a feeling alive inside of us now, and you feel it. It's the sunrise. You let that illuminate all of your inner parts, including the mind. And it creates a melded, a merged reality within you, and you won't see, for example, two wolves fighting each other. You won't be divided in this dualistic person. You won't be passive-aggressive anymore. Or whatever else you've been. We have so many descriptions. But it's all insane. All of it. Nuttier than a fruitcake. But see, this is how we correct it. And this is how easy it is to step out of it. Not be so fascinated with that shit. Be fascinated with this shit. The stuff that goes on inside of you. Yeah, and your response to everything too, because that's part of your creative aspect. See, it's in the feeling that you guide and direct creation. See, the mind could never understand that. It discounted feelings. It tried to outlaw feelings. It tried to embrace everything that made you not feel and reject everything that helped you feel. See, it tried to do that as part of that isolated conditioning that we all underwent. Stepping away from our reality for a while. So we knew how it feels, baby. We played it out to the ultimate aspects of it. And now Santa Claus is back in town, and we're at the beach, partying down, man. We're not up in the North Pole hanging out where it's so goddamn cold. Shoot, babies, you think we're crazy? We're down there in the Bahamas somewhere, partying down. Or maybe it's the South Pacific. I can't tell. It's really beautiful wherever it is. And the oceans are clear, and the skies are beautiful. There's a few puffy little clouds around, but nothing that even casts a shadow anymore, man. The sun's always bright, and there's not day and night. There's just total delight. A resonating love and light that, like the sun, comes from everything. Shines within every little cell and particle of this creation. And there we are living in that flow, consciously present as the form that we are. And the field that surrounds it, which is us as well. Every much as part of our body and soul as anything else is. This earnest field of energy that surrounds us, of which we are created. That's where the form comes from. The field around us. That's the universe creating us. Allowing us to be this person, to experience it personally. As if we're the only one. Wow. And now we know we are the only one. Because we're everyone. And everything too. It comes from feeling. Let it be real. Your mind can't possibly comprehend this by itself. especially with all the program condition it's been through. See, it's time to let it go. Relax. That's all you got to do now. Just relax inside, where all the tension is, where all the guardians have been developing and built on that fear. Just relax. Embrace every one of them. Just relax. Fine. Thank you very much. Relax. Let this feeling grow. That's where conscious clarity is. That's a dose of major healing love like you've never seen before, but you allow it. See, there's where the choice is. You allow it. Can you be loving again, or are you more afraid of that than anything? Be honest with yourself. And if you are, embrace that fear. Try to understand it. Why would one fear the ultimate love and being alive in that ultimate love? Why would one fear such an experience? What is it in us that would create such fear? What's told us such a lie that love has no power? That the only power is fear, terror, and death, and destruction. Oh, I can't help it. I keep seeing Frankenstein and all the silliness in that, and the insanity that drove the person to create the Frankenstein monster in the first place. But I think what we're dealing with here is every bit as comedic as all that, and you got to learn to take it a little more lightly, you know. And, you know, we got to encourage, you know, in our heart, an honest perspective in this reality. So what that means is, you get true inside yourself. You see what truth is and you live it. In other words, become an honest, feeling, caring human being. And that has tremendous influence here. And you will find, I'm already starting to see a little bit of it here and there. There's cracks in the military facade greatly already. But you will see, like, politicos standing before microphones talking about what they've really done here and how bad they screwed up and how sorry they are for having been a part of it, whatever little bit part they play. Because they are all just bit players trying to feed on a little bit of what little glory they can get out of it, you know. But that's just human existence, humans hanging on during the storm, you know. And I got to tell you, there ain't no real pleasure in that glory. It's misery, because the people saddle you with it. It's your fault. And in a way, because you've chosen to be their elected representative, well, if there's going to be blame, it's going to be heaped on you, and it should be. Because you're in a place where you got something to do about it, right? As if the government could ever do anything. Because it never has. It's a boogeyman. A big one. It's a vampiric boogeyman, meant to suck your essence away right along with your life. And it aims to do just that if we let it get away with it, because it's a really, really naughty child. But see, in our sweetheart, that's the way we see it, as a naughty child. That's why I can sit here and poke fun at Dick Cheney and all his generals and shit all day long and have a great time at it, because it's like I see beyond the heaviness. I see what creates the insanity in the first place. So I'm a part of correcting it. I'm a part of what affects old Dick Cheney's heart. He might be one of the first to confess. Who knows? Lord knows he certainly has a lot to tell us, doesn't he? He has a lot to let go of. I mean, I would not want to be living under his burden, yet I do. Because we all do. If we burden him with that, we burden ourselves with that. Remember the rock and roll concert. The audience creates the performance, which creates the audience, which creates the performance. It goes round and round. And each person is very influential in that equation, though there be millions and hundreds of billions involved. Each person. I mean, you know, get a little pain in your ass and see what happens. One little cell goes bad. You know, it's not pain, it's not pleasant. It's integral. Every person is integral, and everything too, to the harmony of this reality. Every person must live, be alive in conscious presence, so that that creation can be alive in its conscious presence once again. This is how we step out of the so-called illusion and back into the reality. We allow it to be. We embrace the glow inside our heart and soul. We let the revelatory side of ourselves, that which reveals truth, be active. And we let the mind be entertained by that and enlightened by the feeling of it. See, many of us have already gotten that far with it, but now we go a little further. Now it's not heart and mind, or body and soul, or spirit. It's unity. It's the feeling of living in life. And that's what's coming back to life into us. Now it's another level. We're melding away another silly dimension, and a division, and a diversion. But it's going, and incredibly fast too, because you can embrace it and be it, and feel it, and let it expand and grow. See, we do this in unity. It ain't just one old man on the mount here. It's all the rest of us, young and old, don't matter. We're the same age, every one of us. We're human. We come from one source, one seed. Same way a single seed can grow an entire forest and populate an entire planet, easily, without much effort at all. Creation's like that, people, and that's where life is meant to be. Harmoniously, simple, and free. You don't have to live in the abject slavery of aloneness anymore. You're alive. We're a singular unit, this little tribe. Each of us active in it in our own way, as the person that we are, but we're alive in that full person that is each of us, and all of us, and everything and everyone. Now do you see how the war machine come undone? Whether it's directed against you on the streets of your own cities, or in some foreign land where your children fight. The insanity must stop, and it has, because we grow beyond it. When there is no division, there's nothing to fight over. You can't fight with yourself and live to tell about it. But we have. In a lot of ways, baby, that's the coyote medicine here. Just when you think you got it, you understand it in another way, and you go, wow. You see, there's no limit to the growth we could gain here, and the deep understanding we could, the heights of understanding we could go to. There's no limit then to the pleasure we can embrace and exalt into creation, because we're so damn happy and pleasured in it. See, there's nothing sad or sick about pleasure, though this life would sure tell you there was, wouldn't there? Yeah. Pleasure in yourself is a different thing than what we've known it to be before, let me tell you. It's a matter of allowing yourself to be pleased with what we create here, to be satisfied with it. You see, then our activity is no longer born of a hunger of any sort, but born of a full feeling of creation, a desire to expand and grow, to be more loving and more resilient in our creation. We're artists, and our art is living creation, expanding it to every possibility, and beyond those, there is no limit. See, we're just human beings coming back to life now. That's what we're beginning to experience here. An awakening. A moment so precious you'll never forget it, because you live in it forever. How about that, eh? Mojo in the morning here on the Coyote Medicine Show, along with a whole lot more holiday mojo too in the rock and roll that we play. Ooh, live and spontaneous each and every day. Oh, you wouldn't believe it, babies, how the angels and the heart just line this up so together. I'm having such a great time here with you, babies, that I don't know I ever want to live another life anywhere else. This is kicking it, man. Hitting it on all cylinders now, ain't we, babies? Yeah. Well, just think of it this way. We've only begun to fly. We've barely gotten high, you know, and now we don't even have to try. That's you and I and the rest of this vibe tribe we call humanity, the colorful beings of creation, the children of life and love. To live here, boy, you know, and now will exist more pleasantly than ever before. Because you allowed it to be this way. You allowed yourself. See, some of the agonies inside of you you've held forever are dissolving away. Do you feel that? You don't have to hold that guilty presence anymore. Just be aware of it and let it release. Just see it and be it and say, okay, there. Thank you. Just let this feeling expand and grow. So says Grandpa here on the Coyote Medicine Show. And we'll rock you into it a whole lot more with his holiday tunage that makes your heart so, so large. That's large for those of you who can't understand age. That's old farmers out here from the West, baby. Hey, we did our best and we're doing our best right now. We're born free, babies, and we always will be. So says Grandpa once again on the Coyote Medicine Show, your morning wake-up call, and so much more here on the ever-loving Hazy Radio Network, baby.